B
Right.
Dot versus Chilla Jones. Who you think is winning this battle and
Okay. So
why?
now, for me, I uh I knew that we were gonna have a talk about um I knew we were gonna have a talk about the card, right? And
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure you was gonna ask me my predictions on the whole card, right?
yeah,
So I actually wanted to do something different and do something that's never been done before, right?
got you.
I want to be able to pick my loser and tell you why the loser can win.
Mm,
And this has never been done. Everybody always picks their winner and tells why the winner should win, and sometimes they break down why the other person could win. But I'm gonna tell you who I feel is not going to win the battle, but tell you how they will win the battle, right? So
I like this. I'm here for it.
for me, I I'm gonna say Vdot, right? Vdot
Mm,
is who I have losing the battle, but I'm gonna tell you how he can win this battle. I feel like Vdot's tenacity, his speed, and his content is what can win him his battle. Like he reminds me, of like Tyson, really, like, and how Tyson was coming up. And he's quick. He's really quick with what he does, and it's very layered, right? Like
mm,
he's if you watch him from the past and then you watch him and from where he is now, like he's taking stuff from Daylight and how Daylight likes to layer, but sometimes what Daylight does like a lot of etymology, and he sometimes it just doesn't make sense. And
yeah,
I'm just being real. B Dot takes the good parts of what Daylight does and compresses it and makes it make sense. And then he's very quick with it. It's like it's super fast, which is why he doesn't want to go in front of a crowd, right? And then he's extremely aggressive, like right, like but it's not like a shotgun sugar aggressive. It's an entertaining, reserved but tenacious aggression that he has. And then the content, right? Like so he likes to take one little piece. You might have tripped in a blog, and he'll
mm,
take that trip and he'll just whoosh, he'll make it a whole big thing, and people will relate to that trip and feel like that trip is why you are the person you are, right? So like to me, he would win this battle 2-1 if he does those things in this particular instance in this battle. 2-1.
got got you. But your winner is Chilla.
Yes, but my winner is Chilla. I
All
won't
right,
break down why. I'm gonna
all
break
right.
down
No,
why the
yeah, I
lose.
get you. I
You know what I'm
get you.
saying?
Got you. So Goods and Gichi, the loser.
Gichi.
Okay.
And for me, Gichi, I think he'll win this battle if he doesn't. First of all, Gichi has to find his 2019 version of himself.
Mm,
And he hasn't really fared well against top guys as well. Like the Arsenal situation, like people got Arsenal winning that one, and a couple other like super top tiers, right? Like or legends, in this particular era. He hasn't fared well against those guys this year. But I do think if Geechee comes not playing around and takes things like he has to find particular pockets and attack Goods' character, which is very difficult to do. Like Goods has one of the better win ratios in the culture. Like it's
yeah.
very hard to beat Goods. Like out of the 26 battles he has, he probably has 3 losses, right? Like it's
Mm-hmm.
like the head ice battle, the hollow battle. And if you want to be technical, like the verb, you can kind of debate.
Yeah.
But aside from that, it's really difficult to find a loss on Goods. So he has to really like figure out what it is about Goods that the people don't like, and he has to zero in on that and not take too much time doing other things that Gichi likes to do, right? Like because it's difficult to take him on. Now I see people saying, it's a smaller room, and that adds into Gichi's environment, but he has to remember that that's what Goods comes from. Like I think people just, for whatever reason, people just feel like Goods is not good. But if that's the case, then he wouldn't always he wouldn't always win. He's
Yeah.
always the underdog, right? So if Gichi is to win, he has to figure out what do the people do not like about Goods, narrow in on that, and he'll be able to pull it off. But I have Goods. I have Goods winning. But if Gichi was to win, that's how he would win.
Got you. Yo, y'all see this is interesting, man. Mickey Factz
Something
is
that's never been done before.
changing the game. We picking losers, but saying how they can win.
Mm-hmm.
So, Kayshawn and Pat Stay. That's the next one.
Kayshawn. Now,
Interesting.
Kayshawn is arguably undefeated this year. This year, last year, depending on how you feel about the Rum Nitty battle.
Yeah.
Sean, to me, right now, is in the best shape of his life in terms of what he's been doing. Like there's been pockets where you see him, and when he's on his game, it can be very scary, right? And I feel like he amplified that when he got with you, right? So when you look at first round K-Shine versus Sue Surf, potent. Third round versus you, potent. Last round versus JC, potent. It's the creativity in Shine, aside from the aggression, right? So now against Pat, the way Shine will win this battle is he has to be a completely different person from what we've seen. Everything that we've seen Shine do so far is, to me, I don't know how it's going to work. I don't know. Everything we've seen from Shine, I don't know how that's going to work against Pat. Like, first of all, we haven't seen Pat in a year, and Pat is extremely dangerous. Like, he's extremely dangerous. But the one thing that K-Shine has that is an advantage over Pat Stay is the height difference. It's the height. The height makes it easier for K-Shine. He needs to play that into his favor, right? Because when you see, anytime Shine battled anybody that was over 6 feet, it's the disparity of this little person, and not to say that he's little, right? But everybody's taller. Him going like this adds more. It just brings out a different kind of visual for the viewer, right? Yeah. So you look at him versus Suge. When he did that, poke your chest, and he did that when he did the baby boy scheme, it just kind of looked crazy. Same thing with John, you know, and it just looks different. So he has to be aggressive on him, and he has to be creative. He has to do something that is never been done before to combat the rebuttals, combat the jokes, because I'm sure that this is going to be. It's going to be like the same room that was Queens versus Kings, right? So at least in my mind, we don't know, but in my mind,
I think it'd be that, or it might be like Watch the Throne. I think because the numbers went up, so it might be kind of like that. Yeah.
So he needs to. Obviously everybody's rounds are done, but he needs to be aggressive and be up on him, looking up, barking on him. That is a visual that is rarely seen in the culture. So he needs to do that. Like, that is the number one thing that he needs to do. 2, he has to be creative in this particular battle. The approach has to be completely different from what he does. I feel like this first round, he can get away with doing what he's been doing, which has been extremely effective against, you know, lower tier guys, but Pat is very, very, very great at what he does. So he needs to do that. He needs to do that. And then also I feel like the people want to see something different from Shine. And I think if he does those 3 things, he will take the battle easily.
Got you. I like this game until we got to this battle, Mickey. I got Shine winning, but I hear what you're saying. Jerry West versus Arsenal.
Jerry West. It's one of those things where Jerry West has to get, I feel like we're in the era of the punchline. Obviously, this is the punchline era, and the one thing that Arsenal does that nobody else does, he doesn't follow that era. He is going to be the X factor in the entire card. He's going to be the guy that ain't conforming to what the people want. He's going to do what Arsenal does, and he's going to be aggressive, and he's going to be great at it. So Jerry needs to attack Arsenal, attack his character, attack who he is, what he's done over the years, and expound upon it, as well as just being creative. I don't know if being disrespectful works against Arsenal. I don't think that's something that works.
Mm-hmm.
I think Jerry is going to have to reenact certain things, and when I say reenact, I don't mean talk about the Detroit thing. I mean talk about things that when you look at Arsenal as a person, we look at it and be looking at it sideways, like, nah, nigga, that's not it. And he needs to find those things, and he needs to expound upon it. The only way to beat Arsenal is if, one, Arsenal is off his game, or two, you break down Arsenal's character. And if you don't break down Arsenal's character, all of those bars, unless you have like haymaker after haymaker after haymaker after haymaker, you're not going to win. So in order for Jerry to win this battle, Jerry has to attack Arsenal's character, and he has to be intense with him. Like when you watch Jerry, like sometimes, he faces the camera as opposed to facing his opponent. He needs to face his opponent, and he needs to really have that conversation with Ars, because Ars is not the guy that's going to look at you. He's going to be the guy that's going to do this. So he has to really be up on him, and he has to break his character down while doing it creatively.
Yeah, I got Ars winning that battle too.
Yeah.
Ill Will versus Danny Myers.
Danny. So the thing with Danny, in order for Danny to win this battle, Danny has to just kind of expand his expertise, right? Like, and because we know Danny to be a straight shooter. If the speed limit is 60 miles per hour, Danny's gonna do 70. He's not gonna go 75 and get pulled over for doing something that he's not supposed to be doing. He's gonna do 70. He's gonna be straight with it. When you go 60, that's the speed limit, but the 70 is the extra push that you get, and that's what you see when you see Danny. You see he's always on point, with the exception of the last situation that he had, and he's always gonna be bringing the most creative punches that are ever heard, right? But that's it, right? And that's been his issue all this time, that a lot of the top guys have to say about him. He needs to expand his repertoire at some point in the game. He has to be versatile to beat this particular person. As we know what Ill Will does. So like he has to expand, as well as, do the things that he's already done. Now, I do believe this is something that he can win in an edge, but there is a persona that comes along with Ill Will that Danny has to beat. It's not the bars that he has to beat. It's the persona and how it's being shown on the screen to the viewer. So if Danny can convince the people that his persona is better than Ill Will's persona, Danny will win this battle 2-1.
And last but not least, T-Top versus Easy the Block Captain.
Easy. And I say easy because Easy can take this battle if Easy understands that everything he's done has led up to this point. So he has to really, really, really go above and beyond what he's done henceforth.
Yeah.
In order for him, because what we like about T-Top, we love his angles, and we love how he does these angles. Like and Easy almost needs to be on the defense, right? So when I've been hearing this more ever since you and I battle, right? Like it's people writing multiple rounds, right? Mm-hmm. Sean said he got 8 for Pat Stay. I don't know how Sean's mind works in terms of taking stuff out and then replacing it. I don't know how his mind works, but now Easy is going to be in a space where he potentially needed to write multiple angles and being able to mentally switch things around because he needs to be on the defense against somebody like Top, because Top, how he writes very well
Yeah.
when it comes to breaking your opponent down. So Easy has to definitely come out of his comfort zone, appealing to the street fans, and understand that now you're going on a platform where multiple people are seeing you, and this is literally your shot. You are at the head of your class currently right now, right? He got Sick and Chaos and
Yeah.
Jada. Like right now, you're ahead of everybody because you're the first one that's going to be on caffeine, and you're going against someone who's probably pissed off that Calico pulled out of the battle. So now you have to write in a defensive mode in order to beat somebody who writes offensively and defensively. That's the only way Easy is going to win this battle.
Yeah. I mean, even though T Top is NWX, I feel the same way. Like I feel like it's a mirror match, but it's too early. Like I don't feel like Easy figured all the things he needs to figure out to make this like, you know what I'm saying, a battle where we could sit down and say it could go either way. Now you said something in the predictions that I want to ask you because I feel like it's shifting. I feel like when we started, the pandemic started, we were still in the punchline era of battle rap. But I think through the small rooms, which people say the COVID era, Vdot, Chilla, Mook's performance versus Rock, I think now we actually getting back to battle rap where the angles and the breakdowns matter. Do you feel like that?
Yeah, yes. So now these guys are the guys that have been in the culture and are MCs first, right? So like a B Dot, a Lux, a Mook, a
Yeah, I
Chilla, like
forgot
these.
Lux too, but yeah, Lux. I would, yeah.
Now, I will admit, like what Lux did in terms of how he did it wasn't received well from the culture, but it was still exponentially different from what these guys, what these guys are doing now. So yes, in this COVID era, guys are doing the angles and the angles are working, but that is a very small, limited pocket. Like it's a very small percentage of people. When you watch someone like a Twerk or you watch someone like a K-Shine, K-Shine is hitting you every single bar, like every
Yeah.
bar. Like it's not gonna stop, right? How does that work against Pat? Right, like, and yes, he's building up he's padding his stats, and it's fire. But is that going to be enough against someone who can combat that? Even if it's a small crowd, like even a small crowd
But
can be dangerous,
but
right?
let me just ask you this though, Mickey.
Mm-hmm.
What if it's like the Watch the Throne crowd where it's not nobody really there? It's Smack, it's Beasley, and that's it, and it's just them rapping. Do those jokes? How do those jokes work when it's nobody there? Because one thing I will say that, and this is no knock to Pat,
Mm-hmm.
aside from obviously my biasness pick and shine, but
Right.
I mean the run that shine is on, you got to understand that too. But aside from that, it's like I've seen Pat get thrown off easily.
Mm.
You know what I'm
Yes.
saying? So it's like when he has one of them jokes in there and they don't hit, how is that translating when, you know what I'm saying, he might feel like, because my thing is, you see what we said, even in this COVID era, it's still three type of rooms. You got the store
Mm-hmm.
with me and Luke Castro. You got
Mm-hmm.
Kings vs. Queens with me and Vixen, Arsenal, and Official. And then you got the Ultimate Madness room. So it's still like you don't know how to prepare,
You know.
because if we in the setting like Kings vs. Queens, I feel like he'll be able to joke.
Yes. Yes. Absolutely.
But if we more so in Ultimate Madness 1 and they in there, and it's like people don't know how much that crowd gives you time. I know for me, like I was more reluctant to freestyle in a small room because it's no time. Like the crowd going crazy will give you time for a rebuttal or give you time to jump back in or give you that comfortability level. Whereas now
Mm-hmm.
you don't land a joke, it feels like it's just the camera panned on you where it could get nasty. So that's my only thing where why I would feel like this is a tougher battle on the stage, but not more so in this room because I just don't know. I would have to see it. I just don't know how Pat will adjust.
Yeah, I think this particular match, this match in particular, is the toughest one to call
Mm-hmm.
because we don't know the room, right? Like, and I feel like Pat might be looking at everybody's predictions, and you just never know at this point, right? Like, obviously, because I'm 100% sure you sparred with him, so you know what Shine is gonna do,
Yeah,
but nobody that I know that knows what Pat is going to do. We have no idea what he's going to do. And we don't know what kind of room it's going to be. So everybody's really like, even Sean, like the last interview I saw with him with Uncle Ra, like he was like, yeah, I don't know what he's going to do.
yeah,
I don't know what he's going to do. We don't know. Like it, but what I will say is he's more confident because of the rooms. He's more confident. Before, I had watched something with Sean. He was like, how do you beat him? I don't know how to beat him. I don't know how to beat him. I don't know. Like, he kept saying that, but now he's more confident because of the room. But we don't know what kind of room it's gonna be. Well, maybe Sean might know, but we don't know. Like, as consumers, we don't know what it's gonna be. So it's a little tough to gauge this particular match, right?
yeah,
So I mean, but I do think, lyricism is stepping up in this era. You have to be good because there's no crowd there to give you a reaction to jump back in. So you have to be your best every single time, right? Like, and people have been saying that to me, yo, you should jump back in. And I'm like, nah, I mean, I think this is a perfect time for guys to elevate and showcase how great they can be in these settings, because these are settings that we wouldn't have seen a lot of these guys in.
yeah, yeah. That's a fact. Um, yeah. On that note, I know you tuned in on Saturday, right?
Yeah, 8 o'clock, right?
I
That's the
I
time.
I bet. So I'm gonna hit you during there so we can spin the block and see what predictions is right, what predictions is wrong. Um, shout out to you for pulling up. This was
Mm-hmm.
definitely you know what I'm saying, exactly an insightful interview, which I feel like it would have been. But yeah, good looking. I'm gonna put this up on YouTube so the people that's not tuned in now they can see it. Good looking for pulling up, Mickey.
For sure, man. Thank you everybody for tuning in. Hope it was insightful for y'all. Hope y'all, was able to kind of get a in-depth look on how I looked at these last joints, how we talked about media, and obviously, recap our battle. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's a fact. And make sure y'all go get that A song right now, A minus on iTunes and all streaming platforms.
Yeah, go pick that up, man. Walk Collages is out. Much
Got
love.
you. Oh yeah, go get the album. The album is out right now. Make sure y'all
Album's
get the
out.
whole album. I forgot. I'm slipping, man.
Now you good. You
Nah,
good. You
good looking.
good. It's early.
I bet.
Peace, B.
Yo, before we get out of here,